Hi, everybody. I was sitting down watching TV, watching this show on tiny homes. Once it was finished, I decided, well, let me go and listen to Tucker Carlson on um, Fox News. And as I was listening to him, I started all these different things that have been going on since before the election started kind of it's almost like a synchronicity. Everything just started to line up, and all the pieces just started to fall into place. And then I just had an epiphany where, boom, everything just fell into place, and I got chills. Now, I may be wrong. I am putting out this disclaimer, okay, because we all know how people kind of go off the chain if they take you for actual, the written word. So I actually put it in writing before I forget all the facts. So I'm kind of, you know, going to read what I wrote and, add a few things, add a disclaimer here and there because honestly, there are a lot of crazy people out there, namely the the left, how they go off the chain on a lot of things. So try to follow as I put these pieces, line them up for you just like they came to me. Um, this is going to be a crazy game of chess between the FBI, the Department of Justice, and Hillary. Okay? So, if everybody recalls, towards the end of Hillary's campaign, I want to say like 6 months out, um, it must have occurred to Hillary that she was not going to win, that it was going to be um, a race that, because of her inability to connect, because of her not having a message that basically pulled everybody that was struggling together into just to agree with her. So she tried everything. We know that she tried everything to rig the election. She did. We heard of instances where there were dead people voting. We've heard instances where people would go to vote, do early voting at polling places, or I think it was places where they actually received um, ballots from people that voted from home, absentee ballot. And it was on the news. These people were throwing away ballots from voters who voted Republican. Um, she also pulled all the punches with bringing out all these women and having them say that they've had a relationship with Trump, and you know how flat that fell. Um, we know that Bill met with Lynch on the tarmac, and they did not discuss grandchildren, how Lynch portrayed it. Give me a break, right? Um, we know that she mentioned in her tweets that, you know, Trump colluded with the Russians, that he was colluding with the Russians. She kind of put it out there numerous times because she was setting the stage. She was creating a scene. So if enough people listen to her, then what she was preparing for would make sense. Okay? She was preparing everybody for that fake dossier. She hired a firm to create that dossier showing that Trump colluded with the Russians so he could win the election. Now, we all know that that dossier did not make it in time before the election. We all know that it just took longer than she wanted, right? Now, here's where my mind just went into overdrive, because I can only imagine, disclaimer, that perhaps she was pressuring Comey, threatening Comey to speed it up. Hurry up with that dossier. I'm falling behind. I don't think I have a chance to win this election. Come on, Comey, hurry up. If you don't, okay, I'm assuming there's a lot of things in play here. So the fix was in, because Comey does not like to be threatened. He's got that personality that you just can't push him. He kind of dictates his own path. Don't push him. So, it did not sit well. I'm assuming it did not sit well with Comey. And guess what he did? He reopened the investigation. Oh no. Right before the election. Ooh, can you imagine the screams that Hillary screamed into her pillow? That pillow must have exploded with those screams. She blew the stuffing out of him. So, Hillary loses the election thanks to Comey. She blames Comey. And Comey didn't do anything with the dossier. The dossier must have been finished, but he held on to it. My thinking is that was an insurance policy for Comey. But the moment Trump fires Comey, all bets are off. We know that Comey went to a friend of his, released a memo, which the friend took to the New York Times. The New York Times published a story which triggered the special counsel investigation with Mueller. Following me? So, what happened during that meeting between Comey and Trump? Do you think that Comey may have blackmailed Trump? Who knows? Meanwhile, we find out how Hillary was being protected by Lynch, by Obama, and Comey, along with other high-level agents in the FBI, and the Department of Justice, because remember, Lynch, okay? We find this out through texts and the questioning during the Senate Intelligence Committee. You know, when you question people, they're going to say things. You re-question them, they'll say something else. Other people are going to say things. Pretty soon you have pieces of the puzzle where you start to put them all together and they make sense. They make a lot of sense. So, all of these were conspiring, all these players were conspiring to hide the circumstances behind the acquisition of the FISA warrants. And that was through the fake dossier. How did they word it? How was that request for FISA warrants worded that triggered the judge, the FISA judge, to issue FISA warrants? And now there is that memo. Release the memo. This memo gives light to those involved behind the known. We now know it's a fake dossier. And that memo releases names and how the FISA warrant was acquired. What was that wording that they used? And we know that these FISA warrants were used to spy against the then candidate, President Trump. People, this is bigger than Watergate. I was a teenager when Watergate came about. This was in, what, 73, 74, because Nixon resigned in 74. And they came out with a book explaining everything that happened during Watergate. This is bigger than Watergate. This is huge. And when that memo is released, there's going to be a lot of players running for the exit. And this is so critical because you see that the Democrats are working overtime to try to discredit the memo. They can't stop it from being released, so they're trying to discredit it. Don't believe it, because that memo has been gone through with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that it is accurate. They're not going to release it if there's something fake in it, because fake things can be disproven. Accurate things cannot be disproven. Think about that. So this is going to be epic. I just had to share with all of you this crazy thing that was going on, where I had all these pieces just whirling around in my head, all these puzzle pieces, and just all of a sudden they came together. Wow. You know, 10 years ago, I would never could have believed that this was something that could happen in our country. this great country of ours. It's just beyond me how close we came to being extinguished as a country. How close we came to being overtaken by socialists. I'm telling you, God was on our side. God was looking over us. Because if Hillary had won, none of us would be able to speak in the manner that we are speaking. We would all be arrested. Our voices would be silenced. Our guns would be taken away. We must never, ever let down our guard. Never assume that this cannot happen in our country. Because the moment we do that is the moment that we allow it to happen. Thanks for listening, everybody. God bless. God bless America. Peace.